Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm super excited for our episode today. We got some good stuff planned to talk about. We don't know if it'll actually come out right, but hopefully it will.
Hopefully.
Welcome. For those of you that are just joining the podcast, maybe you haven't heard this before, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Willow.
And we are the Cooks. And our focus every single time when we're jumping on our podcast is to do one of two things, hopefully both of them. The first thing is to encourage you wherever you are in your relationship and what you're going through. We want to encourage you to keep on going, keep on pressing into one another, loving each other, encouraging one another. But what's the second thing we want people to remember?
We just want to be transparent and share what's going on in our lives and what we're thinking. So hopefully it'll be inspiring or uplifting to you guys.
Yeah. And we also want you to know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Because many times in our marriage, we felt like we are alone. Like we're the only ones going through something.
We're the only ones that this happens to or that happens to.
We're the only ones
that are dealing with it. But the fight.
Yeah, we want to encourage you, though, wherever you are in your relationship, in your marriage, that, hey, guess what? You're not the only ones that are going through whatever it is that you're going through right now. We're all in the same boat, kind of rocking back and forth, trying not to get seasick from one another. Well, I'm excited for our topic today. Our topic is moments, right?
Yeah.
Moments lost and moments lived. Two things that are really important. This topic has come up a lot between us.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's coming up right now is because guess what? You're listening to this right now and it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hopefully you are with your family. You are having some good turkey. I don't know, ham. What do you think? What's the Thanksgiving staple that you grew up with?
Turkey.
Turkey? I hate it. I don't know.
Or we got a honey baked ham sometimes.
I don't know if I ever had a honey baked ham. I've heard they're good.
Yeah,
they're sweet.
They're sweet.
But I don't know. But our newest tradition, one of my favorite traditions, is what?
Brisket.
Brisket. Yeah, that's baby.
Our thing now.
I usually do it. I throw it on the smoker for about 25 to 26 hours of smoking pure, beautiful meat that just falls off. I was going to say falls off the bone, but there's no bone.
Exactly.
It's delicious.
In your mouth.
Yeah, but we're recording this a couple days before Thanksgiving, and one of the things that always comes up during this time is we get really, really busy, and we lose focus on what is most important. And there's a specific story that we always talk about. And do you want what is that story about? Do you remember?
So it's Mary and Martha.
Bum bum bum. Yeah, Jesus is coming to visit. And Mary and Martha actually, it's more Martha that's getting at it. She's trying to get everything done, trying to get everything clean and cook and,
do the things.
Host. And Mary is at the feet of Jesus and she says, Jesus, why don't you tell my sister that she needs to help me? I'm doing everything myself. And Jesus lovingly looks at her and says, Martha, your sister's doing the right thing right now. And dagger to the heart, right?
Right.
And why does that hit us so often?
Yeah. I mean, it's just this constant battle of what should we be doing or versus like, okay, who's around us and which should we be spending our time with?
Yeah.
People or getting the things done, which are both important, but how do we kind of balance this? And it comes up a lot. But like right now, it's really present because we're in the holidays and there's lots of things to do that need to get done task-wise. But there's also a lot of family and people around. So we're doing both.
Yeah. And it's really easy to get swept up in everything going on, especially the past couple weeks. You've been going to doctor's appointments pretty much every single Monday. Mm-hmm. And our daughter has been underweight. And so she's kind of at that cusp point where the doctors are saying, well, if she drops any more weight, we're gonna induce, we're gonna make it happen. And before we even jumped on to record the episode, you were almost near tears.
Yeah.
Just because there's a worry there, right? And it's easy to worry about all the things that are going on in your life and things that you need to get done. But it's so important for us to remember that every single moment that we have, it's a gift. And so we wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about what does it look like for us to slow down and be present in the moment.
Yeah.
From what we've done in our lives, what are the things that we do to slow down? We want to share those with you today. So what's one thing that we like to do when we're slowing down in life?
Well, we like to rejuvenate each other by like kind of what we both like. So since it's the holiday season, we've been watching some Hallmark movies.
I like how you
holiday
said
movies.
I like how you said that we both get rejuvenated from.
I said, well, no.
Yeah, you completely just said we both rejuvenate from watching Hallmark movies. No. Willow loves the Hallmark Channel and pretty much any sappy Christmas movie that comes up. And so
yes.
she's like drooling over the TV remote going, oh, goodness, there's another
like
one.
The only time of year that I watch TV.
Pretty much, yeah. But the big thing is what do you both do that can really rejuvenate one another? And that doesn't necessarily mean that Hallmark is going to rejuvenate me. Yeah, but I know that doing that for you in this season is important.
Exactly.
To be able to step back. Like, once you've seen one Hallmark movie, you've kind of seen them all.
No, they're all a little bit different.
No, they're all exactly the same.
They are the same, but they're all a little bit different.
Okay, we just need to have a poll right now. So in the YouTube video right now, if you're watching right now, I want you to drop a I don't know what. I agree with Nathan. Nathan. I agree with Nathan if you think every single Hallmark movie is exactly the same, pretty much same ending, same start, everything. And if you agree with Willow, you can say Willow's kind of right.
No.
How about that?
You could just agree with me and say that.
No.
Yes, Willow's right.
Okay, Willow's right or Nathan's right. We just want to know. Are all Hallmark movies the same?
I think they're all technically, they all have the same idea, but they're all different. Some of them are about baking. Some of them are about.
They're all the same premise, though. Okay, we're gonna get off track here. Okay, so what are the things that rejuvenate your spouse? Because when we're going at it really, really fast, sometimes we forget that we need to actually slow down. Like, you're actually off this next week.
Yeah.
So you have the whole week off. You actually get to spend a little bit of time with the kids. You get to do some other things. And one of the big things is you have such a long list. In fact, even today it was funny because we woke up and I was like, what do you have on your list to do? And she was like, well, I have this and I have this and there's this and this. And like halfway through her list, she's like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to get all of this done. I might be in over my head. And I was just like, yeah, I think you are probably right on that front.
Yes. And then I confirmed, yes, this is a list that I know is not going to get done, but this is everything I want to do.
Yeah.
But there was both. There are both things that like, okay, these are the things I need to get done before the baby's born because I need to get all these things done. And then these are the things I want to do because I'm off this week and I want to spend time with you and the kids. So
yeah,
that's why we got stuck in this.
But that, I think that also brings us to our second point. So, first of all, you find something that you guys can do together to rejuvenate, or at least what will rejuvenate the other ones. It might be slightly different for wherever you are and who you are in your relationship. But the other thing, too, that's really important for us to do is we need to clarify focus for one another. Yeah. It's really important because when we get into the doing things, I'm a doer, you're a doer. Sometimes we forget that it's a relationship thing. For me, I am with the kids almost all the time. And then I'm out with other people. And there's this thing inside of me that says, I want to be doing something. I want to be productive. I want to get something done. We bought a laser earlier this year. And so I've been lasering different projects. I've been lasering leatherette patches for hats and been doing hats. So, hey, if you want a hat, you can reach out to me. I'll make you a hat. But I've been really excited to actually do something and physically make something. But the problem is I don't have that much time. And it's really easy for me in the moment when I'm with the kids, when we're doing school, when we're running around, that I get frustrated because I'm not getting to do the things I want to do, versus looking at where I am and saying, hey, I have relationships right now. I get to spend time with my kids. Do you know how many parents, I keep forgetting this, but how many parents wish they could spend more time with their kids, but they're working.
Yeah.
And so rather than, going about my day and focusing on the task, I need to be clear. I need clarity. I need Willow sometimes to speak into me. Hey, remember, it's a blessing right now to be with your kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that hopefully that's encouraging to hear, like, oh, the kids are going to love these memories when they're older, to be like, oh, I remember doing this with dad. And so.
Yeah. Well, and it's remembering that it's a get to, not
a
got to.
Exactly.
Right. Because sometimes we think that I have to do this, and I've got to, spend time with the kids. I have to do school with the kids. I have to run to the store to get. Man, Costco was out of eggs this last week, so we had to go back to Costco today.
Yeah.
Which, man, Costco around the holidays, insane.
Right. Who wants to deal with that?
But there was one point where I was like, well, I could just go to Costco by myself, and for me, I was kind of like a little reprieve of, get away from
right, exactly, a little bit of a break.
And then I looked at you and I was like, did you want to go to Costco? And you're like, I would love to go to Costco. Because you don't normally go to Costco with us anymore, because we normally go in the week, and it's usually just me and the kids, and we run in, we run out, we're really fast. I have my methods of how to do things.
Yeah.
But it's really important for me to slow down, and the only way sometimes I slow down is by being reminded by you that I need to slow down.
And just take in those moments, and yeah, I mean, the get to thing it reminds me of the get to versus got to, but like schooling. Yeah, we could have them go somewhere else, but we are choosing, and we get to have them at home. So it's just a blessing. But
it is. And I think that's an important thing that you said, is that remembering that it is a blessing, because we do have so many blessings. Like right now, if you're with family today, and maybe family isn't always the most pleasant to be with. I love our families, but sometimes our families, get to me.
Right. Sometimes there's family drama.
There's family drama that happens, and there's such an important thing to just remind one another that it's more important to be with family than to be doing other things.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I remember when we were first married, you and your mom used to go at it.
Oh yeah.
Like you guys were at each other's necks, and I was like, man, and it's funny because it's progressed over the years, where I used to be like, Willow, stop, like pull back, stop.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to it's taken like a decade to get to this point, but now I just like stare at you, and I'm like looking at you, like in my head, I'm like trying to give you, what is that? EF, like, I don't know. What are the waves?
Something like that.
I'm trying to give my brain waves to her, and I'm like, stop, pull back, because sometimes the fight isn't even worth it.
Right.
Because there are such bigger things like the relationship that are so important.
Yeah. And it's good to like see that, to be reminded of, okay, the relationship is better. It's more important. Be the one that just doesn't.
And even when you're frustrated with other people, or with family, or even with your spouse, you lose moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can be so frustrated, and you lose focus on the actual relationship and spending time with one another, that you actually blow the entire time, that moment together. And you I don't know, for me, I always regret that more often in the end than, I'm happy about it.
Right.
So
I agree.
We've got doing things that rejuvenate one another. We've got clarifying our focus, which kind of goes into also like reminding one another. I think it's because, like, for me, it's good for us to clarify for one another. It's also really good for me, at least, to take a step back.
Yeah.
And when we've said this on previous podcasts, but it's so important to take a step back out of the craziness sometimes, to just catch your breath.
Yeah. It just kind of resets your mind. Okay, what am I actually doing here? Because I'm getting off track.
Yeah. So easily and so quickly.
Yeah.
The last thing I think that's really important is, rather than presenting yourself, you need to presence yourself. Because so many times in my life and what I'm doing, and when we get off on different tracks, is I'm trying to present myself in a specific way. Like if we're entertaining someone, if we have friends that are over, I'm trying to work hard, and I'm trying to be a good host, and I'm juggling everything, and I'm trying to look good.
Yeah.
And because I'm trying to look good, I miss the opportunity to actually be present.
Yeah.
With company.
100%.
I think it was the first time in quite a while, we actually had friends that were over, one of your coworkers, and her family were over, and I started cooking like an hour and a half before they got there.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that was no one knew the difference of whether I had started earlier or later. But two, I was actually able to be in conversation and present with people because I wasn't cooking and picking up and doing everything at the end of everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I was reminding myself to not do the dishes when everything was done, to like put them away, put them in the sink. I was just like, nope, I'm just not doing it. I'm going to be present and not focused on that presenting. Okay, got to clean up and, get the house wiped down or the table wiped down even, because we're not sitting at the table anymore when we're done eating. So,
well, it kind of reminds me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I sent you the video. It was that there was like this young woman, and she's like, "Your house should always be 15-minute house guest ready."
Oh yeah,
that's right. And I was like, I don't even like they can't have kids, like, because I don't think our house would be ready even in like 4 hours,
right?
For like when a guest is going to come over. And that's kind of an intentional thing too, because, and by the way, side note on this is that I am a huge proponent of inviting people over in your house the way that it is.
Yeah.
Because there is this facade that happens where you clean everything and you get everything nice and tidy and perfect just so that guests can come over and look at you and go, wow, your house is so perfect. It's so clean. How do you keep it so clean all the time? And in the back of most people's heads, they're like, well, I just actually finished cleaning it.
Yeah. Or even they say it, because sometimes when we have a clean house, we're like, oh, well, we cleaned it. But it's not like.
But I think that's a proponent. That's like a thing that we do fairly often is like we discredit when people are like, how do you keep your house so clean? We're like, oh, it's not clean very often.
We just cleaned it. It's not normally clean.
Yeah. And even when people are looking at it, like, we know this isn't clean. This is as clean as we can get it right now. But it's so important though, because we're always trying to present ourselves with our best foot forward. And at the end of the day, I don't know. I think it does a greater disservice for us to disconnect from other people.
It does. It makes it less, kind of relational or real. Like, it just seems like, well, that's why we're trying to be transparent. Like, okay, this is real life. It's messy. So it's taken me a long time to accept that too, because I want to be like doing my best and always having the best, doing it all the way the best, or you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Like what you say to our kids, do it all the way.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah, exactly.
You want it to be, I mean, you're kind of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I
mean, you
are.
are.
I've let some things go, like the counter. If there's some things on the counter, it's okay, because that's our life.
You've come a very long way. I mean, if you were to walk into our house when we were first married versus where we are now, I mean, obviously we have more stuff now in our house, and like, we're trying to fix that. We're trying to get rid of stuff. But, when we were first married, like, you wanted everything spick and span clean, ready all the time, like everything perfect. Mm-hmm. And to me, I just didn't grow up that way. I mean, like, my mom was always trying to keep things clean, but, with 4 kids and 2 of those destructive boys, it's hard to keep things it's hard to keep things clean.
Yeah.
And there is something about this idea of, are you trying to present yourself in a specific way with people, especially at the holidays right now?
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, hopefully you're listening before you have Thanksgiving dinner. But when you go to Thanksgiving dinner, are you trying to present yourself in a very specific way for your family?
Yeah.
Are you trying to look perfect and have everything together? And, is your job, perfect in every single way, and you're so wonderful? Or, is everything in your life perfect in terms of like health?
Yeah.
We try to keep everything like looking really nice for everyone else to see. And we forget that the only way to be present in the moment is to be real with people.
And that includes like your struggles, like in your relationship too. And I get, if you're working on something, maybe it's not something you want to share with everybody, but the people that are close to you, maybe your family, you do need to share and have those conversations with, just to build each other up and build that relationship up.
Yeah, I think that's been one of the really impactful things with our relationship, is that we're so open.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're not like out there, airing dirty laundry,
right,
right. But it's one of those things where, like, when something comes up and we have friends that are going through something that we've been through, or something that we're even going through, we're not afraid to communicate it to people. We're not, when this pregnancy has been one of the hardest pregnancies for us.
Yeah.
And when I say us, I mean you. you know, because I'm not the one that's pregnant right now. Surprise.
But it still puts pressure on you. So it's like affecting both of us.
Yeah. Well, it affects both of us. But it's one of those things that when people ask, you know, how's the pregnancy going? And I'm like, man, this has been a doozy. Like, it's been really rough. You know, you didn't have morning sickness or anything like that on really any of the other pregnancies. This one was horrible. You know, you've got medical stuff that comes up here and there. Like, and this is just by far one of the hardest pregnancies that we've ever had. And it's been challenging. And what's funny is when we tell other people that, they're like, oh my gosh, like I can relate to that. Like like my pregnancy was really, really hard. And it just opens up that conversation. And here's the other thing is, especially when it comes to family, I think it's so important that we're just open and honest with each other.
Yeah.
Like for us, we really try to be open and honest. Like we're not calling, you know, family necessarily being like, hey, you know, Willow's having issues and Nathan's going crazy over here with the kids. And
right.
We're not like doing that stuff. But when we are actually in communication, when we are talking and people say, how are things going? We're honest with that. And I think that we could actually help each other more if we were able to actually have that conversation. But it requires us to be present rather than trying to present ourselves in every single moment.
Right, exactly. And that's so good. And that just, it reminds me so much of the Mary and the Martha thing, just because you're working on getting things done versus being in conversation and being with the people.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and it's I don't know, it's interesting too, because I don't know if you guys have felt this at all, or maybe been experiencing this, but like even right now, we have a ton of friends that are just going through medical stuff, and a lot of people that are sick, and a lot of people that are just struggling with different things. And it's one of those things that I feel like more people share with us what's going on because we are transparent with them, because we're present with them, because when they come over and they talk with us, we're not like shooing them out of the door. You know who you are. No. But it's taken us to come to the same page with that, because, you know, we used to go to people's houses and we'd be 5 minutes in the door and you're like, okay, it's time to leave.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, we overstayed. It's time to go now.
Yeah. And I'm like,
we did all of our things.
Like we haven't even started to help, you know, pick up and put their kids to bed, and like it's time to leave now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is something to this of, are you being present in the moment? Yeah. One of our really good friends, and they're actually listeners to the podcast, like I love how he is present in the moment, and she's present too. But one of the things I notice about him is he will drop his entire day. Like, you know, when you sit down, you have a conversation with him, you're having coffee with him, like you feel like there is nothing else on his docket, that he's just there with you, and he will spend the next 8 hours with you. If you need him to be there, he will be there. And that's kind of where I've started to shift in my life and our life as a family is, you know, even when we go to church, you know, it's funny because we go in, we sit down, you know, you listen to the sermon, and then what happens is, you know, the pastor starts praying, and you see people like starting to walk out, and like, you're missing it. And then, you know, cause everyone's trying to leave so that they're not stuck in traffic.
Oh, like at the end. Yeah.
At the end. Yeah. But we've been there before, so you know, I'm not throwing stones at people, because we've definitely done this too. But now we're slowly making our way out to our car. We're actually talking with people. We're meeting with people, and yeah, it's taking time to connect and have friends and those kinds of things. But we're presencing ourselves.
Yeah,
we're being in the present, so that we can actually like deliver conversation and connect with people,
and just enjoy those moments instead of like our topic of moments. It just reminded me of like not missing out on those moments, instead of, oh, I wish I would have talked to that person, or I wish I would have done this, or wish I would have had this conversation with you, or and then those don't come back.
Yeah, it's true. And I think that might actually be a really good topic that we can talk about next week, is just what does that look like to be in the present? Yeah. To not miss out on opportunities like that. But, you know, with right now, the moments lived and lost, as we go through our Thanksgiving Day, as, you know, we're with family today, and we're with a lot of family today. it can be really easy to check the box. We got to see these people, we got to see those friends and do this.
Yeah.
Rather than checking the box, could we just be present with our family? Be present with your kids. Be present with one another, your spouse.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do, and it's kind of been a staple in our marriage and our relationship. In fact, we have other friends that do the same exact thing, and it's something that we encourage them to do, is whenever you have a drive, spend a little bit of that drive with the music off and just talking.
Yeah.
Connect. It was hard in the beginning of our relationship and the beginning of our marriage. We'd always fight. Now we have really great conversations. There's some of my favorite times where we're driving down the road and we're just talking and we're connecting.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not traveling, maybe you are. If you are traveling, can we just encourage you to take a little bit of time and connect with your spouse?
Yeah.
Connect with your spouse. And a little bonus thing that wasn't even on the radar was get on the same page. Get on the same page of expectations for what you're going to have for the day. That's been one of the biggest things, even in the past, in one of our past episodes, we've talked about expectations, but this is so important right now with holidays that are going on. Spend a little bit of time and be on the same page for expectations of what you're both expecting so you can manage those expectations and you can minimize the drama, minimize the conflict. Because at the end of the day, the thing that we need most is just to be connected and be present with one another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I think it was a good episode. What do you think?
I hope so. Hope you guys enjoyed it and have some takeaways.
Yeah. We didn't. I mean, I guess Willow kind of gave you the 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So remember, go watch some Hallmark movies. No, just kidding. Do something that rejuvenates one another. Clarify your focus. Remind each other what matters. And be present in the moment for this holiday season. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember to be more,
see more,
and experience more together.